7:53 here, Big 550 KTRS. Joan Lipkin is with us. She is a she's a writer, playwright. Thank you very much. And she lives here in St. Louis as well as in New York. She's the artistic director of the Uppity Theater Company. Good morning, Joan Lipkin.
Good morning.
You also say that you are a regular listener and watcher and viewer to the show.
I am.
Holy mackerel.
When I'm up.
You're the one. All right, good. You have written a new play?
I have.
Speak closer into the microphone. This isn't the stage. This is the radio.
Okay, I'll work on my projection.
There you go.
Yeah.
You need to talk to the back row. Tell us about the play. It's going to debut March 27th at the Uppity Theater?
No, well, it's going to debut at the Briefs Festival of Plays, and that will be at the Rialto Ballroom at the Centene Center, not in Clayton, but in Grand Center.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And the play is called Briefs.
No, the play is called Ferguson.
Ferguson.
The festival is called Briefs.
Aha. Okay.
It's early, I know.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
We want to make sure people know where it is. It's next weekend.
March 27th through the 29th.
It's at the Centene Center on Olive Street.
Correct, in Grand Center.
In Grand Center.
Right.
And it's the 4th annual Briefs, a festival of short plays.
Correct.
Okay. You wrote a play called Ferguson.
I did.
Tell us about the play.
Well, the play is about a couple, a white couple that really are committed to each other, but it asks what happens when one member of a couple becomes deeply involved in a cause that the other person doesn't share. And it really was instigated by what I was seeing going on around me,
right.
Which is when the event of Ferguson happened in Mike Brown, I watched so much conversation and dissension in the community.
Right.
And what was so interesting to me is I understood why people would be involved in protest. What I found most fascinating is why some people were not.
What I found fascinating was that you would sit at a table and two people from the same background, same family, same
Right.
parents would sit and argue to the death over it.
Right.
And so, which is a perfect lead-in into art imitating life.
Right.
And this actually, Joan, came from your personal experience with your friends. You saw your friends divided. Tell me about that.
I saw a lot of my friends divided. Well, I found it fascinating, Farrah, because there would be people who I thought were inherently decent, oftentimes people of faith, people who were philanthropic, who gave to their community, who sat on boards, who volunteered, who thought of themselves as progressives, who were very uncomfortable with the protests. Mm-hmm. And they said these tactics were not right. They were, or we have the phenomena of burnout. People, dear friends of mine would say, Joan, it's not that I'm not down with this, but I'm burnt out on it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very important, very interesting to look at.
It's interesting because you've touched on something, and I think that, and without seeing the play, you had difference of opinions with people you respected.
Correct.
So here you go. I respect you and I respect your opinion, but you think differently than me, which is something we don't have in political discourse today.
No, we sure don't.
If we don't agree with you,
Right.
we despise you.
Right.
And so that's the interesting point here, I think, is you can disagree with people vehemently and yet still respect them.
Well, we, unfortunately, McGraw, have moved into what I call a culture of contempt, where we're very disparaging, and we can't say, that's interesting, let me think about it. So, for example, if somebody was not involved in the protests in Ferguson, the thing to do would be to say, why? What is it about it that is difficult or uncomfortable for you? And then for us to talk about that, right?
Right.
And what were some of the issues? Some of the issues were people, they didn't like the die-ins, they didn't like the traffic tie-ups. I think that they were afraid of the potential for violence.
Well, they didn't believe the police officer. They didn't believe the witnesses. They didn't believe this one. They didn't believe that one. I mean, there was any number of things to sort of latch on. All right, let me get to this again. It's next weekend. It's at the 4th annual Briefs Festival at Centene, 3547 Olive Street. The play is called Ferguson. How do we get tickets?
You can get tickets online. We have brown paper tickets. It's
right.
briefs15.brownpapertickets.com.
And do you have any parts for a local talk show host in this play?
Actually, I do.
You do? Oh, I'm very offended.
Who would you suggest?
Why would you not come to me? I'm the typecast. I got no problem.
But, actually, may I just say this because
Yes.
it might interest you. The most interesting part is how you started this, perhaps the play itself, and maybe it'll tease you enough.
All right, quickly, because I'm short on time. How'd you start it?
By listening to people, and I was also
the initial part of how you start this play. It has a really sort of very risque.
Oh yes, it's
way.
quite sexy.
Oh, well, that's always good. Then you definitely need a local talk show host. Now I know why I didn't get the part. All right, there we go. Brief15.brownpapertickets.com. Briefs15.brownpapertickets.com. It's next weekend at the Centene Center on Olive Street. Joan Lipkin, thanks for coming in.
My pleasure.
You got it. Quick check of St. Louis Plaza Company traffic. Once again, here's Tim Weiland.
We've got a crash reported eastbound 64 in Illinois at 10th Street. And this traffic report brought to you by Kohl's. Don't miss Kohl's Friends and Family Sale Thursday.